Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Hear Me Out.
Yes.
Um, Today's topic is about friendships, and we're going to. I feel like we already sort of spoke about it a little bit, especially during our first episodes. But I feel like friendships is one of those topics that it never gets old talking
Right.
about it, and it's always important to, to delve into what is a friend, a true friend, and what does friendship mean to us, and a whole different topics today.
Yeah.
So my first question, Kes, what what is friendship to you?
I think what friendship to me looks like or is when you can be honest with someone.
Okay.
But honest for the intentions of helping that person to be better. Because I think that there are occasions where we think like, I'm going to tell it like it is, and I don't care if it hurts your feelings. I don't care if you like it or not. I'm just going to say how
Right.
it is. And I don't necessarily think that's always the way to go about it. I think when you have a person that you can say honestly, like, you're not doing well, or you're not going down the right path, or I don't agree with what you're doing, I think that's a friend.
Right.
I also think it's a friend when someone says, you don't sing that well. I always make fun of her with this. No, I'm not saying that Lula doesn't sing well or anything. I'm just saying, like, I think that friends that look out for you, that they're looking out for, I don't want my friend to be ridiculed. I don't want my friend to be in a position where, people are like, oh my God, where were her friends? Where were her family in this situation? And she went ahead and did this, So yeah, I do think that honesty has a lot to do with it. And then obviously presence. Like, I don't think that presence. Like, I don't think that I don't know. I've never been in a long distance friendship or relationship, so it's very hard for me to speak for it. But for me, I do think that it is important when that person is in your life, like physically. It doesn't mean we talk every day necessarily. It doesn't mean we have to know every detail of each other's lives. But I do think it's important that we do talk, that we do communicate, that we do see one another and we show up for one another, especially in, the hard times and the good times. So I would say, to me, those are the two main things that I find necessary for a friendship: that honesty, that best interest, and that presence.
Oh, wow.
What about you?
Man, for me is
I think you have
commitment.
to, lift your
Oh,
a little.
sorry.
Yeah,
There you go. For me, it's commitment.
there.
Yeah, you need to be committed to.
Yeah.
I think we've spoken about it. You're not walking away, and I'm not saying no matter what I do, you're not walking away. No, I'm saying we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I know I can be myself, because I'm gonna make mistakes and I'm not perfect. But I also know that we're both committed to this friendship. I know you're not gonna walk away.
Yeah.
If that one day I'm just having a very rough day, and I make mistakes as I go along during that day. I know that because we both made an unspoken commitment to each other, that you will talk about it later, but you'll try to understand me during that time, and you're not gonna walk away. You're not gonna be like, well, you hurt my feelings, so no,
We're done.
we're done. No, you hurt my feelings, but I'm so invested in this that we need to resolve it, because you're gonna see me tomorrow, that day after, and I want to be in your life for a long time, not a short time. So I think for me it's commitment, and I think también like being able to being open to arguments, being open to
Have disagreements.
have disagreements. There you go. I think very very it goes along with what you were saying with honesty. I might not agree with you, but if you really set on a decision and I already told you my opinion, and you continue to be set on that decision, again, I'm not going to walk away, but I'm not going to be supportive either.
Right.
You know, so because we already spoke about, hey, I disagree. But if you want to go ahead and do it, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to, give you the stinky eye or anything. However, I'm not going to be 100% there because
I don't agree.
I don't agree, right? However, también at the same time, I do think that if it turns out that it was a good decision, I'll be there to cheer with you. And if it turns out that it was a bad decision, I'll be there to be sad with you and to be like...
not to gloat.
Not to gloat, no. Not to be like, well, I told you so. No, to be like, man, it sucks, and I'm here. So, yeah, I think... Well, I think we both heard it from Jordan Peterson that he says, a true friend is a friend that you can tell them good news and they'll be happy with you, and they won't be like, well, this happened to me. Well, that happened to me. Well, I have achieved this or I achieved that. And a good friend is a friend that you can tell them bad news as well. And the same thing. They'll be sad with you, they'll sympathize with you, they'll understand you, and they won't try to up you on that.
Right.
Like, well,
this happened to me.
This happened to me, like I'm more miserable than you are, or I remember that one time. It's like, dude, you're making this moment about yourself. So that is a true friend.
I agree with you with, interestingly enough, like, I feel like it's more common to be there for someone in a low moment, because I feel like it comes easier, but it doesn't come easier to be there for someone in a high moment. Because I think that sometimes it is hard for us to see someone else excel, succeed, achieve something that perhaps we haven't yet or experienced yet. I do think that that's a difficult thing. And I do think that's a great way to identify a friend, because like something as simple as, someone getting in a relationship, someone graduating, someone getting a higher paid job, someone getting a better car, like something that you're probably like struggling to get ends meet or whatever. And now you have to, like, that's the whole point of, I'm going to put my needs, my wants to the side, and I'm going to be present with you and have this moment and celebrate with you. And so, yeah, I think that's hard because we're human. Jealousy, especially among women, is very real.
It's rampant.
And I had this, conversation the other day with someone, and I'm like, when we're low, it's so easy to be like, dude, like, we're both struggling, we're both, not doing so great.
Yeah.
But the moment that you're doing good and I'm still here, how do I manage that? And some friends turn on you. Some are like, well, yeah, of course that happened to you because you're this or you're that. But it's not like good, or, pues sí, because te lo buscas. Entonces, yeah, I would definitely agree with you that a great way to identify if someone is a good friend is if they're genuinely able to be happy for you in a situation where it may not come easy to them. Yeah. And it's like, I'm going to be happy that you had this experience,
But even, I feel like that's a quick way to notice a
not true friend.
Or a true friend. But also, I agree with you on the fact that it could come easier to feel bad for a person when they're going through a rough time. But I feel like when they're not your friends, even that you cannot mask it.
True.
Even because you can feel someone be like, man, that sucks. However, let's move on.
Right.
And I've been dismissed so many times, by people that I thought were my friends.
And you have your heart out.
And it's like, oh, okay. So I do, however, I would agree with you that it's harder to identify someone in those areas because, yes, it looks easier or you can mask it a little bit more of like, wow, oh my God, I'm really sorry that happened to you. Oh, Jesus, whatever. But there are people that they cannot hide when something bad happens to you or when and how they feel about it. Either there are people that dismiss you completely, or they want to say something like, well, at least it's not at least it didn't happen like it happened to me.
Right.
You know,
right.
well, at least you get this and that. Look at me. You know, well, at least you're married. I'm single, blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
Right. You know, it's funny like that you mentioned that, because I feel like that's something I struggled with, like, especially growing up. I think I had this like desire to always want to be the center of attention. And I did that in my friendships a lot of the times. I did that in friendships where someone is trying to share something with me and I would make it about myself. And I would find a way to like almost just waiting, like I want to give my experience, you know? And yes, it took years of maturity and years of awareness of like, that's not the right way to go about things. But I remember being on that, like, and I think that's what it is. I think a lot of people are so focused on themselves that they don't have room to have compassion. They don't have room to have empathy. It's like, it's about me. It's my story is more exciting, or my story is more saddening, you know, whatever. But obviously to me, it's like once you're an adult and you're obviously looking for people that you want to surround yourself with, and you can say, okay, this is someone that I want to have a long-term friendship with. Yeah, definitely watch out for those, because as I mentioned, you know, like I know what it feels like to have been that. Like, and as I mentioned that, like, was there ever a time that you weren't the best friend? You're not that great of a friend to someone?
Oh yeah. Yeah, in high school I feel like I used to hang out with these girls that thought they were very popular, and they were, or they might have been, I don't know. And I remember we had a friend of mine, and her and I, we always got along, and we were sort of like the odd ones in that group. Not so much her. I feel like I was more of the odd one, but she wasn't in with their attitude either. So that's how, I mean, you know, and so we were friends even before freshman year. We both went to the math academy. Before our freshman year. So comes freshman year and it's like, oh my God, I know you. Oh my God, yes. I was new to that high school. That Oxnard High School wasn't supposed to be my high school. I was supposed to go to Channel Islands. But we moved, and so I ended up going to Oxnard High School, and so I didn't know anyone. The math academy was my way of getting to know people. So that's how, when I started my freshman year, this friend of mine, we were like, oh my God, yes, you, okay, a familiar face. And so freshman year, it was, you know, we hang out with those girls, and it was kind of like, oh my God, they're very, you know, they care about so many things except studying. And my friend and I, we were different. We cared about studying. I mean, we went to the math academy, you know, before our freshman year. So we really cared about, you know, we were both from single parent households. We clicked on a lot of things. And sophomore year comes in, and we're both sort of tired of this attitude of the other girls. We're like, they're very, you know, like they don't want to care about school. They want to care about other stuff. They want to start doing things that we are not comfortable doing because we're not there, you know, we're different. And however, that feeling of you belong is so strong at that age, or at least maybe during that time. I don't know, maybe so much. Right now we have so many kids that feel entitled that maybe they don't feel that way anymore. Like, oh, I'm on my own, you know?
Yeah.
But back then, to me at least, it was almost like an intoxicating feeling of that belonging. Like I belong to a group. Like I get to hang out with people, you know, during recess or whatever. So, I don't know how it happened. I think during a party, the boyfriend of one of the girls started hitting on my friend, and my friend said no, but people started making rumors that she had said yes, that they were going out, and my friend, the other girl, I think bought into that whole rumor thing, and so they started leaving her out. They started, you know, doing that of like, oh, you're not with us anymore, y todo eso. And so during that time, the right thing to do was to hang out with my friend, to leave. We were both fed up with their attitude, you know. We both at times were just like, oh my God, like, you know, that's not right, you know, what they're engaging in y todo eso. Um, but my feeling of belonging was greater, you know, and obviously I'm what, 16. And I didn't think much of it, and I never, okay, the other girls would tell her stuff, would tell her like, you're this, you're that was my boyfriend, blah 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 blah. I never engaged in that, but the fact that I never said anything makes me just as worse, you know, just as bad. So she doesn't hang out with us. She stops hanging out with us. She starts hanging out with other people that were actually, you know, into school and everything.
Right.
And I feel miserable. I feel miserable because now I'm left by myself with these two girls that are just face, but no brains and no essence to them, you know. And I'm feeling really, really miserable. Now I'm the
person they're targeting.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I'm getting bullied by these two girls, you know. I'm receiving all of it, you know, and go get this and go get that, or, you know, it was just bad. And I got tired of it, and I thought, you know what, whatever. Like, I don't want to belong to this, you know. I they're toxic, you know. They're bad human beings, at least then. Right now, maybe they change, but then they were just mean. They were mean girls, nasty girls, you know. And I'm like, I don't want to be with them. And I lost a friend, a good friend, a friend that really had my back, that really, you know, that I know she didn't do what they're saying she did because of them.
Yeah.
You know? So I felt so bad about myself. And I'm like, dang, you know, I shouldn't have done that. So for the whole remainder of sophomore year and a little bit of junior year, I was by myself. I decided to, like, if I'm gonna have those type of friends, I'd rather be by myself. I'd rather be on my own. And if it was very embarrassing to go up to my other friend and apologize, because to me it was just like, how could I have done that? And now all of a sudden I want to get back into her life. Like, that's not right. So it took me a while to approach her, and it took me a while longer to start hanging out with her and to feel that she was very welcoming.
Yeah.
She was never, I'll say this, she was never mean about it. She was never like, why did you do that? You never should have no, she
never held it.
She never held it against me. And so much so that I don't even remember how we made up. I don't even remember how we started hanging out again.
Oh, okay.
Because it flowed. It was so seamless, and there never was a situation where she was, you know,
you did this.
You did this, and at least I don't remember. Maybe she'll remember something different, but I don't remember her ever holding me responsible for something that she had every right to.
Yeah. She
had every right to hold me responsible for. And so, and, you know, we've been friends ever since. And right now she's married. She has a beautiful chubby kid, and I love him and I love her. But that was a time where I feel very embarrassed
that you were
that I wasn't the best of friend, and for what, to feel more miserable after that, it was just not worth it. What about for you?
I think I had a lot of bad habits growing up with not being the best of friends. I mean, I don't say this with pride, but it's, again, one of the things that I used to do when I was little, when I was in elementary, first grade. I had a habit of, so unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to see it, I had leadership skills. So I did have moments where I had girls follow me when I was growing up. And I remember that because I had girls follow me, I would use that to my advantage to bully. And I remember growing up, I would have this habit of, like, I don't know, maybe I didn't like Susie Q because of her outfit and it was cuter than mine or whatever. Like, something that day I didn't like about Susie Q. And I would remember, and I remember I would do this with friends, and I would say, like, hey, like, Susie Q did this, and we're not talking to her right now. And they would be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did this. And I would, like, start rumors, and so they would all isolate her. And Susie Q was multiple girls. Like, I did this to various girls. And
is that why you like Mean Girls so much?
I see myself. No, so Susie Q is crying at recess, and like, I don't have any friends, and everyone doesn't talk to me, and so then I would go up to Susie Q, and I would say, "Hey, what's wrong?"
Dude, you were a psycho.
And she would say, "No one's talking to me. No one wants to be my friend. I'll be your friend." And I would gain friends like that. And I had like a little bodyguard y todo. Oh. And like she was super tall y todo.
Wait.
This is elementary.
No, right. Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say,
I got bullied. I got my I got it back, for the record.
No, but I was gonna say, how did you manage that? Like, first you tell some girls not to talk to her, and then later on they see you talking to the girl. How
I think the way because I was very manipulative, and I do remember on occasion I would say, "You know what, girls, we shouldn't be mean. That's not right. Like, we shouldn't be talking bad about someone." I would use something along those lines, and the girls would be like, "Yeah, you're right. Like, we shouldn't be mean." And I'm like, "We should be friends." And so I would gain the loyalty of Susie Q. And so again, I say this story porque me da mucha pena, and I guess sometimes I say it often because I feel bad. I really feel bad for the little girls. I don't even know how many. Hopefully it was just 3, But like, I remember 1st and 2nd grade were not good years for me as far as being a friend, And around those, years, like growing up into, middle school and stuff, like I remember in those ages, I won't say where, I was also a bully, to the girls, and I would participate in like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to make fun of so-and-so. And, it's funny." And I remember on one occasion it got back to me, and I was bullying a girl, and we people that I had influenced to bully her were also participating. And this is a defenseless person, like they don't have a lot of confidence in themselves. And so they're just taking it. And on that occasion, their cousin was there and had heard about the treatment that she was getting and came straight up to me. And she was like, "I heard you've been talking about my cousin." And I was like, dude, it's like everything, like all the like I guess reputation I had created about myself dwindled away, and I was just like, no, like we haven't been talking about
Don't
her.
get me wrong.
No, not. And she literally like came up to my face and was like, "I will beat your butt if you say something about her. As a matter of fact, I am ready now. Like, you think you're so much talk? Let's go. Oh. Now, I had gone, I don't know how many years without ever having been in a fight because I was manipulative. Other girls would do it for me. And so, like,
a little bodyguard?
Minions, like, I never got in and never, ever got into a fight.
Wow.
I lied about getting into fights. And so she's literally like, "I'm ready." Mm-hmm. And, her cousin or the girl that we had been bullying is just there kind of just like, "Well, yeah, you guys have been mistreating me." And I was like, no. Like, just hold on. I remember I go and I went and I found my sister and I just cried. And I remember seeing my friends just kind of like, dude, like, what the heck? Like, where's that Kez that like was all talk, Now she's crying. I remember like, I just went, I'm like, "Annie?" And she was just like, "Yeah." And I just like burrowed myself in her chest and started crying. I'm not going to reveal how old I was. And so old enough to know better. And so she's just like, "Oh my God, like what the heck?" And so my friends are just like, "Yeah, this happened." And so I was like, "I didn't mean to. Like, I didn't mean to." And like, I'd like to think that at the core of my being, I wasn't really bad. Mm-hmm. But growing up, I had some issues. Like, I was a compulsive liar. I had a big imagination. I thought my life was a movie. So I think I liked drama. I liked to create scenarios and stuff, Entonces, I go back to the girl. She obviously sees me defeated. She sees me emotionally defeated. I'm crying, and I'm just like, like, I'm so sorry. I apologize to the girl in front of all the friends. I'm like, "I should have never spoken to you like that. I really apologize for how I spoke to you." And I don't think that relationship Like, we were always in speaking terms, but I don't think that relationship ever really, like, you know, but, like, I tried, dude. I tried everything in me to, like, I'm going to fix this, you know? Te digo sinceramente, since that point, things started to change. After that, I went through middle school bullying, and it wasn't until I got to high school that I started to have, like, a good, you know, experience with friends. But I got back what was given to me. I got back, what I gave out there. So I think that, like, growing up, like, I didn't really, like, know how to be friends, even to my niece, dude. Ay, pobrecita, like, I'm not gonna say her name, but I've said the story to her. I would do it to my niece, because my nieces are like my cousins practically. And growing up, pobrecita, she was so sweet, she was so obedient, she was so kind, and I was always manipulative. I was always contemplating a new plan or cunning, you know. So I know I was never good, you know. And my mom would see how good she was and how kind she was, and so her brother and her younger sister, they would, like, gang up on me, and we would make fun of her because I was jealous. I was jealous that my mom would, like, hold her, vente pa acá, mija, vente pa acá, para que no te estén burlando. She'd get mad at us, and it would only make me even more mad. Like, oh, you love her more than I, and I'm your daughter. She's your niece or your granddaughter. And también igual, you know, like, now that we're older, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so mean to you, mija. Like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, like, growing up, like I said, like, I had bad habits. And honestly, like, I feel like I started to have more consideration for people when I started to be on the receiving end of what it felt like to be an outcast. And that was when I was 16, 17, 18, you know, 19 even. I remember being part of a project or like a thing. And no matter what I did, I was never enough. And it was made clear I wasn't enough. And there were cliques. There were people who, like, you know, talked to each other. And I remember that, like, I was always there. I was always silently there. And I remember one occasion que, ay, tanto me dolió. I remember being in a circle with all of these people. They're all talking about going to a restaurant, and, you know, they're going to hang out and they're going to go somewhere. And I remember just literally adentro de mí just praying, like, please, please, I know I can't go because my mom's on her way to pick me up, but please, if someone can just invite me just so that I could have the decency to decline. That's all that I was thinking. And no, the whole conversation happened, and I stood there. And I remember just like, oh, okay, we'll see you there. We're going to go there. Okay, whatever. Like, I was invisible. Like, they didn't even say bye to me. It was just like, all right, we'll see you there. I stood there. My mom was running late to pick me up. They're turning off the lights. They're already getting to leave.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And the person in charge is like, oh, you're still here. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, are you going to get picked up? Do you need a ride? I was like, yeah, I'm going to get picked up. And thank God that my mom arrived, like al minuto, really, because they were gonna go to the dinner, and they were already like, oh yeah, because, like, you know, we gotta go.
Oh my God.
You know. And so I literally was like, oh my God, like, soy una inconveniencia tal grado que, like, dude, they're just like, we gotta go.
Jesus.
And I remember, like, my mom picked me up, and she was like, hey mija, did you have a good time? Immediately bawled. Immediately. Yeah, at this point I was already, I know I say I'm 16 all the time, but I was old enough where I was in a different stage, and, like, I was starting to already understand those were bad behaviors growing up. I know that's not the right thing to do. You know, I was probably 17, and I was really trying to be a part of this group. I was really trying to find community in this group. And I remember just being in the car, just like, and, like, my mom was like, what's wrong? Like, ¿qué tienes? And I'm just like, just drive. And eventually I told her. She was really upset, obviously. She's like, oh my God, esta gente, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I stuck through.
Oh, okay.
I stuck through it. I did not leave because it was an important project for me to be a part of. And it was there that I started to realize, first and foremost, how many times I had done that to someone. How many times I had overlooked someone, or not taking into consideration, and something flipped in my mind where I was like, I'm never going to be that person again. I'm never going to ignore someone. I'm never going to do plans. Have I failed? Of course. Is there that one hater that's like, dude, you did that last week? Yes, I probably have failed, but intentionally, no. Intentionally, that was when things started to change. And I started to say, you know what? No, I am going to be who I am because I want to have this identity. I want this to be part of my identity, that I am someone that goes and says hi to people. I am someone that involves other people. I am someone that will include the little guy that no one wants. And that's when things started to change, like in me. And I made a lot of friends. A lot of my friends, and I took pride for a long time saying this, that a lot of my friends were my friends because I was the first one to say hi to them, because I started to take pride in being the first one to make the move, because it's so easy to be in a position and say, well, no one talks to me. No one says hi. No one notices me. And these people are stuck up, or these people are just, mean, or, they're fake, or they're hypocrites. You can be in that mindset a lot for a long time because it feels good to have that pity. But I had that switch. I had that switch where I was like, I don't care if people don't notice me. I'm going to be the first person to say hi. I'm going to be the first person to go up to someone. And I think that was when I started to become a better person when it came down to friends. Still learning.
Did you ever feel part of the team though? Towards the end, in the middle, I don't know. After you decided to be the one to go up to people?
No.
Wow. So I think it really goes to show that sometimes it really isn't you. I mean,
no.
Yes, you are the change, because I feel like exactly what you're saying. After you started changing, you saw a change. So,
right.
As cliche as that sounds, we are the change. You want to see something change? Be that.
Right.
Right. Be that. But I do think that there are instances where there are people, groups of people in this case, where it really isn't you, it's them.
True.
And it's a culture that it's pervasive. It gets pervasive. It's sort of like you are not part of the clique. And it's almost like they get a kick out of making you know
that you're not it.
That you're not it, that you're not part of it. And
it's interesting.
Hold on.
I've never had that question.
Just to finish my thought. And as you mature, you start realizing, good that I'm not part of it, because that would mean I'm that. If I'm included in that team, if I'm in that clique, that means I'm them. That means they like me for a reason. What's the standard in that team? To be stuck up, to be mean, to be nasty, to be disrespectful, nonchalant, snobbish. Would you have wanted to be that? No. So that's the rule I always take when I know people don't like me. It's like, good.
Why?
No, I don't.
No, but like, why would I want you to like
exactly?
me?
Why would I want you to like me? I don't like you either. It's like, it's good that you don't like me, because then that means I'm not you. That means I'm not someone you are going to like, because then and again, I don't say it like I'm better than, but for example, I wouldn't want someone that I find disrespectful and arrogant to like me, because then that person would think you're like me.
Yeah.
You're that. No, I wouldn't want that.
I think because I was in that project for a while. I was there for years. And I do think I had a purpose, because obviously, like, new people would join the team, and those new people had similar experiences than I did at the beginning. But because I was there, I befriended a lot of people. I made people feel welcome. And I think that's why when I left, I didn't leave on bad terms. I think the way that I chose to see people was like, very sadly, I don't think they have the capacity to be better.
Oh.
And so it's not their fault. That's how I chose to see it. Because in my head, it's like, if they could have been better, they would be. But I'm pretty sure that it's not by lack of someone telling them, or I'm pretty sure there has to have been someone that made them aware. I would hope, you know? But that was obviously like the way that I took it. I'm like, they can't improve, but I can. I have capacity to change. I have capacity to be better. I have the capacity to be a good friend. And that drove me to have a different perspective about that project. And so I chose to see it like, be the change you want to see, you know? So yeah, wow. I've never really taken time to think about that, but.
Well, I mean, again, I guess it just goes to show that you never assimilate it, and that's a good thing.
I think that's a good thing.
Right? Especially as you're saying, they were not going to change, you know? So you wouldn't want to be that, you know? And
what do you think for you as you've grown and you've had different experiences was one of the experiences that really shaped you, maybe more in your adulthood, that was like, I had perhaps not the best experience with a friend, or maybe I had a really good experience with a friend. Like this is what shaped me to start to realize this is what a healthy relationship with a person looks like, what a friend looks like. What was that turning point for you?
Hi guys, so this was part 1. The next episode is going to be posted next week, so we hope you join us. We hope you had fun watching this episode, or at least, you know, you took something good out of it. So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.